We got one!
You done fucked up now!
That's a stupid idea.
What?
It's a stupid idea! You're a stupid man! A stupid man!
Ow! You're hurting me!
Ass up! Lock his ass up! You're going to jail! You're going to jail!
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your
Lack of authority! It's not the time! It's not the time! Solutions!
The one missing is the president of...
The Republic, who is the one that has to manage all this movement of people, who has to see that every day the authorities meet at the Palace of Justice.
When will they let us vote?
Until when?
We're free. Thank you, God. Long live Venezuela, my mother.
Daver, defend yourself, because we are free, damn it. My people free! Free! They caught Maduro, they are gone now. What happiness! Thank you, God! I'm going to Los Roques, I'm going to Margarita, I'm going to my beautiful land. My God! Venezuela, damn it! Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. My people, my God. I don't even know how to explain it to you or what to say, but Maduro's regime is gone. Uncle Donald Trump, thank you, Uncle. Thank you, Uncle. Long live Venezuela, damn it. Long live Venezuela, brother. Goodbye, Maduro. Goodbye, Chavita. Goodbye. Go to hell.
The old ones bring out our rounds. They hope colored faces. And for your noise with that.
What do they ask you? How did it go?
I think I have the dialect.
This shirt, I think we need to add some flair to it.
With the heart. Open up to the left. It gives you marks on your face, the color of hope. It stops your noise harm.
With the heart, open up. It's gone.
That left and gives you face paint the color of hope and stops your noise with the heart.
With the...
Left, and that left, and you...
Gives you face paint the color of hope and noise for your noise with the heart. With the heart, open that left. That left and gives you face paint the color of hope and for your...
With heart.
These
guys want to get us into a war. They want to create a justification for us to be in a war. So what do? They shut down the airspace. They're shutting down commerce. And forget about these drug dealers. Most of those drugs aren't even coming here. They're going to Europe. They're going to other places. But what they're trying to do, again, is to trip us into the war because they know the most important thing is the American public hates war. We're sick of war. This president ran on being against war. And now, because of a bunch of neocons around him, Cuban neocons, they want to get us into a war so that way they could finally fulfill their full vision of a Latin America without Cuba and without Venezuela being in the control of communism.
So shut up, bitch!
So we're all waking up this morning seeing the insane news that's coming out of Venezuela. The government of the United States has illegally invaded a sovereign country and kidnapped its leader. That is what's happened. This is international gangsterism. That's what this is. There are going to be people in the American political space, frankly, probably on both sides of the aisle, trying to convince us all that somehow this was justified. It isn't. Not at all. Our behavior against Venezuela over the past few months has been illegal. None of this has been authorized by Congress. None of this is being done in accordance with international law. Quite frankly, we're doing this because Donald Trump is afraid of what's in the Epstein files, and they want us focused on something else. That's what's going on. Just a month ago, there was a vote in the Senate that would have required congressional input on any military action against Venezuela. It got voted down. Susan Collins is one of the people that voted against it and killed that resolution. That would have stopped this from happening. So over the next couple weeks, wherever this goes, just understand that this is a failure of the American political system. This is an absolute failure of our government. We are allowing an out-of-control rogue presidency invade foreign nations and kidnap their leaders. This is going to reduce us on the international stage. It is going to continue to see us become more isolated and taken less seriously. And on top of all of it, it's immoral and utterly disgusting. I call on all Americans to turn out in opposition to this activity. This is not the behavior of a government that cares about the American people. This is behavior of a government that is lashing out with military force because it is afraid that its domestic failures are going to result in political failure. That's what's happening.
Tyranny always comes in the name of compassion and equality of outcomes. When I was at Columbia, they are brainwashing my classmates saying education should be free. Healthcare is a human right. How unfair is it that there are billionaires and there are homeless people? It should be we are all equal. This same idea began the living hell of North Korea. When Kim Il-sung came to my grandmothers and my grandfather, he said this to exact thing to us. How unfair is that they are landowners, they are capitalists. And how unfair is that your children cannot be educated, you need to pay for it. If you give me the power, Kim Il-sung said, I'm going to make everything free. Government was gonna provide everything for us. If we just gave up our private property, our freedom of speech, our freedom of movement.
Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever this video finds you, welcome to Tix. Yes, I am still sick. And yeah, if you've been sitting around waiting, man, it took me 3 hours to render this freaking video just for the translator alone on CapCut. Good Lord. Ooh, I have been working on this sucker for a minute. So, at any rate, I posted this on my Twitter. I said, I've never in my life seen so many white Americans be anti-American. It's like you want to be victims so badly. Can you explain it? Are you this effing stupid over Trump, or are you taking bribes and kickbacks? You want to lose a second civil war again? What's the end game here? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I ask that because you've got Miss Bleeding Heart Liberal, closet white supremacist, and a Kasparian who thinks that, let's just be honest, the way she talks, she feels that her whiteness means that she can rule over people of color. She gets to call the shots on people of color. All you gotta do is just watch any TYT episode. Just watch any TYT episode. Or better yet, go on her Twitter feed. And this is what she said. She said, this administration is absolute trash. Thieves, looters, thugs, and warmongers, nothing more. That's kind of rich. That's kind of rich. Coming from a lifelong Democrat. I know she claims that she's not a liberal or Democrat anymore, but that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. She got upset because that homeless guy gave her 2 humps to her butt cheeks. And her wimpy husband didn't do anything, so she got mad. I can't do this anymore. But her mentality is still that of a Confederate white female. These people are free. They're celebrating all over the world. And somehow she thinks that this is about theft by the Republicans. And I know it's some silly people out here that, they TDS is so hard, so strong that they think that, he's just trying to get that oil. I remember doing a series last year talking about the death of the Democratic Party. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now. First, they destroyed Doge. Remember, they was upset about Doge. They cut off the money because Doge was the Democratic Party slush fund. They were laundering money through Doge. Then remember when Maxine Waters and them, the Democrats, went to call themselves trying to have a sit-in on the Department of Education. But Trump had the doors blocked, had the doors locked and everything. And Maxine Waters was talking smack in that guy's face. And he didn't care. He didn't care. As long as you didn't touch him, he wasn't going to body slam you and arrest you. You run your mouth all you want to. But he was waiting. She knew better. In all honesty, they wanted to go in there and get them records, just like the Somalians did. Not knowing that nothing changes your name faster to inmate number 3832657 than destroying evidence that the federal government is looking for. Because they're going to find the records, just so you know. Blockchain. I don't know why people think blockchain is in effect. You registered all this stuff with the city. You're not slick. You broke into your own building from the inside, didn't shatter any glass, it raided your own filing cabinets like you did something. Although I do have to say that Kash Patel fumbled that. The second you saw that there was fraud going on, you should have swooped down and secured all of those buildings in order to preserve evidence. But he didn't do that. That was a very incompetent move for the director of the FBI. Very incompetent move. But it's okay. They still have access. I mean, there's a reason why Dean Bondino left. There's a reason why he left. The incompetence was too much for him. So Bernie Sanders Bernie Sanders, he said, Donald Trump has once again shown his contempt for the Constitution and the rule of law. The President of the United States does not have the right to unilaterally take this country to war. What war? Even against a corrupt and brutal dictator like Maduro. It was no war. They were in and out in 3 hours and was standing in line waiting on McDonald's to open up so they could get them some McGriddles and hotcakes and some coffee for breakfast. They was in and out 3 hours. That's why, you know, the cartel, it took down Maduro. Do you think your little Mexican cartels, you really think you stand a chance? They did that in 3 hours. Destroyed his military depot, destroyed the airport so they couldn't escape, and then just went right in and he opened the door and they was just swinging the cuffs. Maduro was like, what's for dinner tonight? Like weenie tots. Ooh, my favorite. Y'all remember that Married with Children episode? Like now it's over. Yeah. In and out. You think the cartel stand a chance? Oh, and by the way, President of Mexico, it's a toss-up between you and Iran. Probably Iran first, because Iran is a bunch of low IQ, ornery sons of guns. Try not to curse. So he'll probably go in there and liberate Iran. And then he'll deal with Mexico. And then he'll deal with Mexico with precision strikes. There's not a war. How are you going to war? You're a grown man. You can bench 2 million tons. How you going to war with a newborn baby? The hell out of here. Anyway, the United States does not have the right, as Trump stated this morning, to run Venezuela. Congress must immediately pass a war powers resolution to end this illegal military operation and reassert its constitutional responsibilities. What are you trying to say? Send them back? Not going to happen. Trump's attack on Venezuela will make the United States and the world less safe. How so? How so? Because the American military flexed this muscle. What country is going to, oh, how dare you take down the South American drug kingpin that we've been selling our drugs through, that being China. We want to fight. No, they're not going to do that. You got the wrong president in the office to be trying some monkey stuff like that. This is a grown man in office. This is grandpa, 1930s grandpa in the office. He's not playing with you. This brazen violation of international law gives the green light to any nation on earth that may wish to attack another country to seize their resources or change their governments. This is a horrific logic of force that Putin used to justify his brutal attack on Ukraine. Actually, Ukraine was not selling drugs into Russia, killing their citizens. That is a total resource grab. Plus, Ukraine used to belong to Russia. They gonna have their issues. What are you talking about? And trust me, if Russia really wanted to take Ukraine, they could have taken Ukraine within a week, if not less. They have the second most powerful military, the most nuclear bombs in the world. If they really wanted to take Ukraine, it would be like a prom date in the back of your father's Chevy. I'm sorry, I know that was a crash reference. Trump and his administration have often said they want to revive the Monroe Doctrine, claiming the United States has the right to dominate the affairs of the hemisphere. Yes, we are the big boys on this side of the world. They have spoken openly about controlling Venezuela's oil reserves, the largest in the world. Yeah, because the people are starving because their drug lord leader, their illegitimate leader, is mismanaging the country. He was mismanaging the country. The people were starving. There are videos I've seen. The people, I mean, they're skin and bones. That whole socialism that they had, where there's no food in the grocery store, that y'all just can't wait for Mamdani to institute. You can't wait for the chick out in Portland, Oregon to institute. You can't wait for that. This is rank imperialism. We're the United States. We are imperialism. We are the empire. What are you talking about? It recalls the darkest chapters of U.S. interventions in Latin America, which have left a terrible legacy. Like what? It will and should be condemned by the democratic world. Yeah, that's the problem. The democratic world, the socialist world. In other words, the people who have been taking financial kickbacks from a drug dealer for decades. The gravy train is over. USAID, Department of Education. Now they're attacking their media. You see, CBS has been sold. They got a reporter. He sat up there this week and said that he's going to be fair and balanced. Yeah, because CBS is owned by a Republican. He's not about to play that game. They've been sued twice for false information, election interference. Then, as a matter of fact, the guy who owned CBS, he was going to let the Netflix deal go through and then buy CNN from Netflix because they didn't want anything to do with the news. Remember, the guy wanted Scott Jennings to come to CBS. Scott was like, no, I'm fine. I'll stay here. So the guy was like, well, okay, don't make me a bit of difference. I'll just buy CNN. But now, and I think it's because of what Netflix has been doing to media, just like Disney with all of the DEI and the trans stuff and whatnot, because that Stranger Things ending was just garbage. I didn't even bother to watch it. This dude defeated Vecna with the power of gayness. Get the hell up out of here. At any rate, I don't like girls. No, bro, girls don't like you. Look at you. Look at you. You look like you. Oh my God. You look like you put the honey bun in between your cheeks and clap in the school bathroom. You look like you be in the toilet stalls in the school bathroom, making sure the football team is fully refreshed before they play in the game. Stop it. So he said, screw it. I'm just going to buy Warner Brothers. So now his deal is the more profitable deal for Warner Brothers, Time Warner Brothers. They like his deal better. So that way he'll own all of the superhero catalogs, the Star Trek stuff. He'll own all of that. And again, he's a conservative and he ain't playing that mess. I mean, this has been a plan. Elon Musk bought Twitter. This dude bought CBS, which they've been trying to sell for years. Remember Disney was trying to sell ESPN, but they gave Stephen S. Smith that $100 million contract because he's the only thing that they got going for the network. Pat McAfee is talking about getting out of his deal. They're getting ready to lose the WNBA, which in all honesty, they need to dump the WNBA. And it looks like that they're getting ready to do that because the NBA is bleeding money. Bleeding money because they don't enforce the rules. They let people travel, flop, all of that crap. It's just a crap show out there on the basketball court. Y'all that watch basketball, y'all know what I'm talking about. I be seeing the highlights. Yeah, they're bleeding money. They can't afford the WNBA, to be honest. That little $10 million that they were paying them to subsidize their league, they're starting to feel that. They're getting nickeled and dined by the WNBA. They're about to dump them and let them chicks swing. Speaking of swinging, you know Maduro he gonna be a human wind chime right before the end of the year. You know they're going to break out the Saddam Hussein rope on him, right? Unless Trump is compassionate and throws him in prison for the rest of his life, he might let that dude swing. He might wear the black hood and then feel the tightening around the neck and then the quick breeze and the yank. We'll see. But he definitely ain't going back home. The Democrats running a criminal organization. This Medicaid, Medicare thing with the Somalians across the United States. Why do you think they were fighting so hard to keep it? They know it's a Ponzi scheme. They're getting paid off of that on the back end. Just like they do with NGOs. The Democratic Party is hemorrhaging money, bleeding money, like somebody gave them 12 gunshot wounds in the arteries. This whole Maduro thing, you think Trump didn't know? I mean, he break this. Outside of Doge, outside of the Department of Education, outside of Medicaid, Medicare, outside of welfare, outside of child care, outside of all of these federal government subsidies, with the Social Security numbers, you think Trump don't know where the money is coming from? Do remember when Elon Musk was at Doge, they found millions of Social Security numbers active for people over 120 years old. They cut all those Social Security, every last one. Cut them all off. Then Elon left Doge, and then they were able to get more than read access on these Social Security numbers. So all of these double Social Security numbers and these fraudulent Social Security numbers, they cut them off. That's why you got millions of illegals who are self-deporting. And you see they upped the money from 1,000 to 3,000. They want these people gone. They're currently going after the worst of the worst. They haven't even gone after the Islamists, though, up there in Dearborn and Texas and New Jersey. Oh, don't worry. They're coming to get you, Barbara. They're coming to get you, Barbara. You're not going to be able to get away, Barbara.
Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
Yeah, go ahead. You got guys who did videos. They were showing where they broke into a safe house, an Islamic safe house up there in Dearborn, Michigan, and they had all types of guns and whatnot in there. I guess they're ready for ICE. Okay. You really want to play that game? You really want to play that game? These Democrats are getting all these kickbacks from our tax dollars by the billions, almost trillions, stealing our money. Maduro was their what do they call that? Not Blackwater. Help me out here. Their underground connect. That's why they were tripping about those drug boats being blown up. Those are fishing boats. Yeah, where are the fishing poles? If we capture one of those boats and then we open up those blue containers, what do you think we'll find in there? Trout? But I told y'all last year, I said with Trump blowing up those boats, Maduro had to pay China and through Iran their money back for the loss of that product. So they tried to send them that big old shipment of oil, a couple of tankers of oil, and it got snatched up Trump snatched it up and he said, you know what? I'm done playing with these losers. I'm going to get you. I'm serving a warrant. And now the Democrats are freaking out. In all honesty, I would run a forensic audit on all of them that's running their mouth. I would run a forensic audit on Bernie Sanders, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, and anybody else in Congress that's running their mouth that has millions of dollars in the bank off a $200,000 a year annual salary. I would run a forensic audit on you because they're already doing it in Minnesota. They're doing it in California. They're getting ready to do it in Chicago. They're getting ready to do it in Massachusetts. They're getting ready to do it in Ohio, and they're getting ready to do it in Philadelphia. They're getting ready to do it in Dearborn, Michigan, and they're getting ready to do it in Oregon. They're about to run forensic audits. And I love it. You say Gavin Newsom might come off as a smooth-talking, handsome Machiavellian leader who lives at a sunny vineyard in Napa Valley, California. He kind of reminds me of Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. Yes! He looked like the guy that be looking in the mirror, pointing and winking at himself. He looked like that guy, 100%. Trump sent that attorney general to California to investigate the homeless fraud, and then all of a sudden it wound up going into the railway fraud, and now they're looking at the welfare fraud. Oh, Gabby. You and Karen Bass and all those other little goofy little mayors running around California. If Pam Bondi actually does her goddamn job like Janine Pirro would do, I guarantee you these people will be in jail. They got Tim Walz coming in next week to meet with Congress to talk about the fraud. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to cover that. 1 second. Sorry, I'm still sick. I didn't want to do all of that mahogany in y'all ear. I'm sitting here with green tea. I got the big boy. At any rate, yeah, them forensic audits are coming. And that's how you get them. That's how you get them. You want to be a seditionist? You want to be a traitor? I tell you what. Instead of having the uproar of trying you for treason, which would be a crap show, a media crap show, a political crap show, I'll just get you for fraud. Go ahead, say you didn't, because when Elon was in Doge, one of the first things he said was like, "You'll be surprised at how many of these Congress people who make $200,000 a year have tens of millions of dollars in their bank account. Like, we know exactly where the money came from." Blockchain. They got you. And as impatient as I am with this whole situation with Trump prosecuting these people, I have to keep reminding myself of what Robert Duvall said to Sean Penn in Colors. Y'all remember the joke? He said, "Hey," the young bull said to the old bull, "Hey, father, let's run down there and screw one of them cows." The father was like, "No, son, let's walk down there and screw them all." And that's exactly what you're seeing. But I mean, the American people are impatient. You killed that that one congresswoman and her husband and the dog. You shot the other two. You had a hit list that Tim Walz gave you. You wrote a letter to Kash Patel implicating Tim Walz in the assassination of these people. And we've heard nothing. They better bring that up next week. They better bring that up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever they hold that congressional hearing. It better be brought up. That guy was not planning on surviving doing those hits. If he couldn't get away, he was going to off himself, but he was too cowardly to do it. So he got captured. Kamala Harris, they got her out here hustling that book tour because this moron, I'm talking about the death of the Democratic Party right now. This moron, they gave her $2 billion or over $1 billion. And in 3 months, she had a $20 million deficit. And the Democrats were like, we're not paying that bill for you. Like, why in the hell did you blow over $2 billion or over $1 billion on trifling, useless, degenerate black entertainers? You already had the black vote. Those people are stupid. You see, they voted for you 92 and 77%. You didn't need Beyonce to do a speech. You didn't need Cardi B to do a speech. You didn't need Meg Thee Stallion to be twerking. You didn't need none of that. The Democratic Party has the black vote sold up. So who are you appealing to? The black vote. Because you're a moron. You're a moron. Bill Clinton appealed to the white votes simply because he was a Democrat and he was charismatic. Same thing with Barack Obama. Very charismatic. You had to worry about, they had the white votes sold up. Him and Clinton needed to woo the black vote. Woo the white vote. They needed to woo the white vote, and they did that because at the time the Republicans were all about war. They were warmongering with 9/11 and Bosnia, and what was the one where they hung Saddam Hussein? Where'd he come from? Damn it. Iraq. Yeah. And you had Afghanistan. You had a Middle Eastern war. People's kids were dying. All you had to do was talk about stopping the war. And you see Joe Biden called himself doing that. And of course, as we see now, they stole the vote. They stole the election. Over 300,000 votes found here in Georgia, which we knew down here in Georgia that they stole the election. We knew it. Same thing they're trying to do out in California, where they got the ballots marked where you can see who voted for the Republican. So if there's a dark mark, they got the envelopes where you can see who voted for the Republican. So that way they could toss the votes. Yeah, you should send the National Guard or Department of Homeland Security to a lot of these voting places. Nobody's freaking petrified. I'm sorry, if you go to vote and you see Department of Homeland Security standing there, you scared? What you scared for? You're an American citizen. You're not a criminal. Why are you scared? That dog don't hunt no more. Your race card has been declined. Do you have another form of victimization that you can use? It's over for you. They got Kamala out there hustling that garbage book to pay off that $20 debt that she owes the Democratic Party. And nobody's buying that garbage book. Nobody's buying that garbage book. She's in debt. That's why she's talking about running again to try to rebuild that money, to pay back that money. She knows she's not going to win, but she knows she needs to pay back that money. You can get enough 92%ers that are stupid enough to donate to her to think that this Indian chick, he black dude, think that she gonna win the get the I'm not gonna curse. I'm not gonna curse. I'm not gonna curse. Let me finish this. Trump campaigned for president on an American First platform. He claimed to be the peace candidate at a time when 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. When our healthcare system is collapsing, it's not. When people cannot afford housing, that's starting to come around. And when AI threatens millions of jobs, well, that's why we have millions of jobs coming in. It is time for the president to focus on the crisis facing this country and end this military adventurism abroad. He just did. It's over. It's over. Did you not? You didn't watch the news, Bernie? You went to sleep, your old ass, with your warm glass of Metamucil and your heart condition pills, and you woke up in the morning and turned on goofy CNN, and all you saw was smoldering rock and pictures of Maduro on a plane being flown back to America. In fact, flown into New York. He wished Mamdani would get in the way. What the hell are you talking about? Trump is failing in his job to run the United States. He should not be trying to run Venezuela. No, he's not. How? How is he failing? You got trillions of dollars coming in from the tariffs. You've got millions of jobs coming in from the tariffs. You're getting rid of the illegals, which is going to bring down prices on both grocery, gas, and homes, because supply and demand is a real thing. You got them cutting out fraud, waste, and abuse, not just at the federal level, but also at the state and local level, which will bring down the prices and also help those people who are in need, who are actual Americans. They will see more on their check, that being the elderly, the infirmed, the handicapped, and the veterans. People who are on Social Security, now that they've cleaned out all of the fraud, waste, and abuse in Social Security, their cost of living raise will not be a little funky $500, which is barely enough to cover today's rent. No more Section 8 abuse, no more welfare abuse. You can't buy junk food with SNAP anymore. If you are a able-bodied adult, you got 2 years on Section 8 and welfare. You got 7 years on SNAP, but you have to work at least 20 hours a week. And if you have a child, they cut you off after the kid turns 7 years old. And I'll say it again, if you are paying child support, you can claim the child on your taxes. If the other parent does, it's fraud. She will go to jail. When you go to file your taxes, your tax agent will tell you this. Or maybe you should ask, because you'll probably go to a black chick and her dumb ass ain't gonna tell you that shit. She'll probably be in on the fraud with your baby mama. How long before the big Mamdani pictures go up in New York? Probably February. And then you got this dude. I said Trump wanted to start a war, and now he's saying we're going to occupy Venezuela. Enough. I offer the War Powers Resolution to hold the Trump administration accountable for its illegal actions in Venezuela. I'm going to force a vote. Only Congress has the authority to blase, blase, blase. Dude, ain't nobody listening to you. Go fudge yourself, Ruben Gallego. He's the reason why I made this post. Like, dude, what are you talking about? It's not a war. We smoked them fools. These people are dancing in the streets. They're happy. They're dancing in the streets all across the world. Some of these a-holes are pretty ungrateful. Much as I hate Trump, I hate Maduro more. And blah. I'm like, you know what? You ungrateful bastard. How about we just put them back then? I'm not going to hate nobody that just saved my country from a brutal warlord that's been in power. A brutal drug lord, warlords have been in power for 25 years. All my hatred for you is gone. All my hatred for you is gone. That's like you being mad at a cop because he gave you a ticket and then you get kidnapped by some pervert. He done did all types of despicable things to you for a couple years, and then all of a sudden that same cop just happened to kick in the door and save you. You still mad even though he gave me a ticket? He's the devil, but I'm just glad that he like shut up. We sending you back anyway, so we'll give you a reason to be angry. But it's fine. You're watching the collapse of the Democratic Party, which is a criminal organization. Let's just be honest. They're a criminal organization. All their money is coming from stolen tax dollars and the drug cartels. Mexico doesn't even smuggle drugs into the country anymore because, you've got the wall and all them little tunnels that they had, them big old tunnels that they had where they could drive the freeway trucks through and everything. Trump blew all them tunnels up. Them tunnels are gone. He meant that stuff. Try not to curse. He meant it. And he said no more people legally come across the border, especially in South America. He meant that. He meant it. The only thing that the Mexican cartels can do is human trafficking. The only thing that the Somalians can do is, pirating, stealing taxpayer funds. Same thing with Nigerians. And also the Islamists. All of these foreign groups that you sitting up here bleeding heart liberal for. When he first came to the White House to talk to Trump and they were going back and forth, and Zelensky said to him, he said, you think that you're untouchable because you're surrounded by water, but you're touchable. And Trump was like, oh, I know. Don't worry. He said, don't worry about that. I'm going to take care of that. And that's exactly what he's been doing. Step by step by step. Thank God. You got goofy YouTubers up here caping for the Somalians because they black. Like, man, if you don't, this is your home. Without this place, if this place goes tits up, that's it for you. Because none of these groups that you're in support of, because they black or because they Muslim, they don't like you. Y'all ain't friends. The first thing they did to Libya when they killed Gaddafi was enslave the people. Started looting, murdering, raping, and pillaging immediately. You think they're not going to do that to you here if the United States falls? You think you curry favor because, you shop in their store and they speak to you? Assalamualaikum alaikum, my brother. What's up, man? Alaikum salam. Yeah, he cool. You don't go to their mosque. You don't go to their homes. You don't invite them over for dinner. You are a customer. You are food to them. You are an infidel. How stupid of you. I mean, Somalians have the average IQ of 67. I really need to see the average IQ of the American black person. to be so stupid that you think that these people are your friends. That if they actually toppled this country, that they gonna look out for you. That it's gonna be one big socialist harmony. You're a moron. Anyway, let's get on to this. This will probably be a two-parter. Let's go. So this is how everything came to be.
United States launching an extraordinary nighttime attack on Venezuela. Dramatic video capturing the U.S. strikes overnight. Explosions ringing out in Venezuela's capital city beginning just before 2 a.m. local time. The night sky above Caracas turning bright orange, massive flames engulfing the air. Those giant plumes of smoke seen from miles away. President Trump confirming the strikes and announcing the United States has captured Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. Trump writing online, the United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolás Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement.
Que en la madrugada de hoy, 3 de enero,
Venezuela's defense minister, speaking from an unknown place, calling it the most criminal military aggression from the U.S. in the history of our country.
He's scared. And you know why he's scared? Because he was in charge of the drug trade. He was head of the military. He was the one that was also he was second in command of the drug trade. That's why he's in hiding. Don't worry, bro. We gonna get you. We gonna get you. We gonna get you. We just gonna let you sweat it out.
The massive escalation coming after a significant U.S. military buildup in the region. The Pentagon striking more than 30 boats the U.S. alleges were involved in drug trafficking operations. At least 115 people killed since those strikes began on September 2nd. In a memo obtained by ABC News in October, the administration telling Congress that America is in armed conflict and that drug cartels are deemed unlawful combatants. President Maduro facing drug charges, including narco-terrorism conspiracy since Trump's first administration, after federal prosecutors alleged he deliberately used cocaine as a weapon. Back in 2020, U.S. officials telling Americans they plan to eventually gain custody of the Venezuelan leader. In recent days, more signs pointing to this latest attack. The USS Gerald R. Ford, the most advanced lethal aircraft carrier in the world, spotted on New Year's Day, seen in these satellite images, positioned closer to Venezuela's coast than it had ever been amidst the recent bout of tensions just some 200 miles away. And the FAA banning U.S. commercial flights in Venezuelan airspace for, quote, ongoing military activity ahead of the attack. Trump had warned that land strikes were imminent.
We'll start that on land, too. It's going to be starting on land pretty soon.
Saying in a recent interview with Politico that he wants to see Maduro gone.
So how far would you go to take Maduro out of office?
I don't want to say that,
But you want to see him out?
His days are numbered.
Can you rule out an American ground invasion?
I don't want to rule in or out. I don't talk about it.
For his part, Maduro had said just one day ago that he was open to talks with the U.S., and in a separate pre-taped interview released Thursday, described a recent call the two had.
nosotros hemos tenido, Ramón,
saying, I think that conversation was even pleasant, but the events following the conversation haven't been pleasant. Let
me explain something. How when Trump sits down with these reporters and they start asking him questions about their war plans, the Democrats are trying to figure out what he's doing. Because do understand, he's not sharing any information for them because he knows that they're traitors. He knows that they're traitors. We know that they're traitors. So he's not telling them nothing. Why you think Miss Jasmine Blackface Crockett sitting up here crying like, he ain't called me? Who is you? You're a nobody. You ain't lose your seat. AOC, he ain't called me. Who are you? You're a social media star. That's it. I'll give you no call. Why would I give you a head up? So you could call them and let them know, oh, Trump is coming, run. You think that man is stupid? He ain't as dumb as you. Get the hell out of here. Yeah, but they be poking and prodding trying to get information so the Democrats can see what the hell he up to. So that way they can form a preemptive strike. But he says nothing. Gotta love it.
Let's hope.
Just absolutely stunning developments here. And Matt, you're learning a lot more about what this operation was like, because we're talking about U.S. Special Forces involved.
Yeah, each kind of hour that goes by in this story, Gio, we're learning more and more details that just are more stunning than the next. And so President Trump was actually just on Fox News, and he gave out some details. Forgive me, I'm going to reference my phone here because we're just getting this information in. But he says at one point that special forces went into the complex where Maduro was living. They had to break into what he describes as steel doors, the kind of safety room that the heads of state often have to kind of hide in these sorts of situations. He's saying lots of helicopters, lots of different fighter jets.
Wait, so because you know how he had a safe room. He had a safe room. And they just ripped that sucker apart like toilet paper. Come on out. Just like Saddam Hussein was hiding in a hole. Come on out of there. Come on. Come on, let's go. It's over. Don't fight, because we will pop you.
And then he described it as an Osama bin Laden type raid where he could watch this raid play out in real time. So he basically said that Maduro was trying to do everything possible to stay away from this, and yet the special forces were able to get in. Crucially, he says he does not believe, he doesn't know, he said on this interview, but he thinks no Americans were killed. He thinks one of the American helicopters might have been hit. He thinks there might be some injuries. He says, I have to say a couple of guys were hit, but they came back and they're supposed to be in pretty good shape. So it does appear that there might have been some American casualties in this raid, but this is just these early stages where we're still needing so much more information about what happened here. But this does seem like an incredibly complex operation that did perhaps result in some American casualties.
And difficult to get information because U.S. reporters are not allowed in Venezuela at the moment right now. What's the reaction been like? Because you look at the streets and we've seen those images, lots of Venezuelans appear to be celebrating.
So it really depends.
Hold on. Yeah, you're right. You probably got that server IKEA for $1,499 plus tax. Little do-it-yourself safe room. Little cheap little them screen door locks. You put the little latch on there. The old school screen door latches, like with a baby gate. Oh, I'm sorry. I know I'm corny as hell, but no, if you're not, here's my thing. You're not letting reporters on the ground in Venezuela. I'll say send all them CNN reporters. Give them special press passes. Send them down there. You know, since they want to cape for him so bad, they want to cover for him so bad. Because you know, Abby Phillips is probably going to be on her goofy show, caping for Maduro, calling for Trump's head. You know she's going to do that, you know, because she's a scumbag tether. No, but send the CNN reporters down there. Send them down there with some DEI security guards. You know, some fat white women that can't holster their guns. Send that's 5'2", that's over 40 years old. Yeah, send them down there with that security force. Let them feel so safe and protected.
On what side you're on here. There are going to certainly be people in the Capitol, many of whom are on the Maduro payroll or have been in one way or another, or just are true believers who will come out and be very pro Maduro and want to come out and support the government. But I think it's fair to say that is a minority in the country. Within Venezuela itself, you've got the vast majority of people who are not pro regime. Absolutely not. They might be a bit nervous about what's going to happen next. So that's the people in Venezuela. And then outside of Venezuela, we actually have some sound that we can play here with people in the diaspora, people who have left. We know millions of Venezuelans have left in recent years, many because of political persecution. They will be among the happiest. Let's hear what something happened.
And they're going back home?
Somos libres, todos estamos felices de que cayó la dictadura y que tenemos un país libre. Me siento bastante venezolano.
But you know, white folks, white Democrats are mad.
Después de mucho trabajo. Hoy llegó el día y el día de la libertad.
To hell with what the Venezuelan people think. To hell with how they feel. To hell with millions of them finally tasting freedom, having a chance for a better life. No, we white people, y'all do as I say. I say that y'all mad that Maduro was seized. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. I speak for you. Y'all know how the Confederates are. They think that non-white people are stupid. They think all non-white people are stupid and that we need them to be our voice, even if we're telling them to fudge off. Sitting up here calling black men coons because they don't want to protest ICE. Like, man, woo. Don't get socked up. Don't get socked up. Who are you talking to like that? You impoverished scumbag. I mean, their racism knows no bounds. It really comes out when you don't do what they say. Ain't that right, Anna Kasparian, Bernie Sanders, AOC, even though you ain't white, but I'm pretty sure you think you white. I bet you think you a white Hispanic. Lapdog Crockett. Lapdog Tiffany Cross. The hell with y'all. You don't speak for these people. I think the people have spoken. And if you got in their face and told them how you felt, they would knock, oh my God, you would get drugged. You would get physically drugged. You have no idea the hell that this dude put these people through. And you running your mouth like you know better than them. Shut the hell up.
Alrededor del mundo estábamos esperando.
But the question here, Gio, remains they can be happy and no question about it. But what happens next?
Right. Is there anyone in line now?
Well, so what you've heard so far is Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president, the number 2 in the country. She's come out and said she's not declaring herself interim president, at least not yet. She says Maduro is still the legitimate president there. But it does appear that the majority of his inner circle, senior officials, are still in place for the moment. So it does appear that they're still running the country. But President Trump was asked about that on Fox. He came out and said, well, we're looking at that. He appeared to say that he doesn't want this government to continue, but what he's willing to do to get those people out, to somehow change this to some sort of democratic transition, free and fair elections. We're very far away from figuring out all that, just hours away from what unquestionably was one of the most stunning U.S. military operations in recent history.
So many questions. We'll let you get back to your sources here to get more information. Matt Rivers, thank you so much.
I mean, let's be honest. The one thing that they would have to do is to have a free and fair election, but the people would have to vet, as well as the United States. They would have to vet the new leader. And you know how it is. You know, we put in a puppet leader that does what we say. We put in a puppet leader that does what we say. But in all honesty, I think for the Venezuelan people, that actually may work out in the long run for them. Because you get to return their people. And if you broker the oil deals, the oil and mineral deals, like you did with Ukraine and the Congo, all right, and Rwanda, if you broker the mineral and oil deals, then you can help these people rebuild their country, kill off socialism, and you help bring them back to capitalism. You build up their cities, you build up their nation from the resources that you split with them, just like Russia was doing with BRICS. They was going into Africa and whatnot. They was like, yo, 50-50 split. You do the same thing. You actually go on a humanitarian effort. I don't know if this is what they'll do, but this is the best thing to do. And you burn all those drug fields. You kill those drug dealers. You cut off the supply, which is coming from Iran. Like I said, Iran looks to be next. They've got all of that, the protesting going on, and Trump told the Iranian leadership, if you start executing protesters, we gonna come and talk to you, bro. Did the whole shoulder pat. You start executing protesters, we gonna come talk to you, bro. Do you really want us to come talk to you? Like, because I mean, we're not going to have a war. There's not going to be a war. We'll just come and get you. We know exactly where you are. We're the U.S. freaking military. We have satellites that can see you 5 miles underground with heat signatures. Hello, when we dropped them bombs on your nuclear facilities, we knew exactly where they were. We knew your vents and everything simply through radar, satellite imagery. You send the vibrations down there and the vibrations will map it. That's just like with Wi-Fi. People don't know this, but people can see you through the vibrations of your Wi-Fi. It's just like a sonar. They can see exactly where you are in your house, your exact movements and everything through heat signature and vibration. Why do you think it took them 3 hours just to extract Maduro? Went straight to where he was. Come on out, bruh. Same thing they did with Osama bin Laden. If that's what exactly happened. Come on out, bruh. You think they won't do that to the Ayatollah Khamenei and the other Iranian leaders? Come on out, bruh. We got you. we don't have to. The age of destroying whole cities like they did in Iraq or whatnot, because that was just brutal. You didn't have to do all that. But it's a new military. We ain't got to do all that. Like, run the satellite. Where is he? Where are they? Oh, they right here. Oh, okay. Let's wait till they go to bed. Wake your butt up with a 38. Come on, get up. Let's go. Put these cuffs on. Let's take a flight. Yeah, come on. I don't know what you said, but we'll let the lawyer figure it out. We don't have to destroy cities anymore. We don't have to bomb citizens anymore. Just a few precision strikes, and then we got talking about some war. No, fighting with Russia and China is a war. These dirt countries, that's not a war. It's not a war. That's not equal playing field. We're not sending boots on the ground to occupy the place for months on end. The old days are over. Anyway, let's get to it. I'm sorry.
Daniel DiMartino, he's a Venezuelan immigrant and Manhattan Institute fellow. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. You said you have extended family in Venezuela, and one of your friends actually experienced an explosion close to her windows.
Yeah, so, well, the U.S. attacked many military bases, and the blows were so hard that some windows in the residential adjacent areas broke because of the strength of the explosion. But I can tell you that people are very happy about it, because Venezuelans are tired of 26 years of a regime that forced nearly 1/3 of us to leave our country.
Yes.
I mean, this is why I have no immediate relatives in Venezuela, because we all ended up leaving in the last 10 years. And many people want to go back. Many people want to visit back. You know how many friends and family I have, their loved ones, that if I were to step foot in the Venezuelan International Airport, I would be arrested because of the regime's persecution. And we want our country back. And so we're very happy about what President Trump did.
Yeah, and look, if you go back to your neighborhood, you're not going to recognize it, are you? Explain what this would feel like for an American who, you know, we've never had to deal with anything like that. We're counting our blessings that we're born in the zip codes that we have been. What's this all been like for you?
Well, imagine that you have the life that you currently have. Imagine that you have a car. Imagine that you go to a regular school. Imagine that you shop at your Walmart, and then suddenly there's something that disappears from the grocery store, then you have to line up for essential items, then inflation rises to not 10% a year, but 10% a day. and then 1,000,000% a year. And so you become extremely poor. Like my family, we went from making a few $1,000s a month in the early 2000s to making $100 a month in 2016. I had to put my fingerprint in a scanning machine so that the government could tell me what I was allowed to purchase. That is what socialism is in Venezuela. And so, of course, the Venezuelan people oppose Maduro. And of course, we're very happy about his overthrow.
And what do you think about the democratic socialists in this country that are picking up steam?
Well, I unfortunately read earlier before this segment the statement of Mayor Zohran Mamdani, saying that he actually condemns the attack and that he's thinking of all the Venezuelan New Yorkers. Well, as a Venezuelan who lives in the New York City area, I can tell you we do not stand with Mayor Mamdani. We stand with what President Trump did against the Maduro regime. And I think it's shameful for New York City's mayor to stand with a dictator, right? This is the mayor who says he wants to arrest Bibi Netanyahu. But then when we actually arrest an indicted criminal, which is Maduro, and he's going to be tried here, he condemns it? Well, seems like a double standard there.
I can tell you have a bit of a visceral reaction about Maduro as well. If we can put up that picture of him that Trump has posted on True Social and is matching that sweatsuit there, what are your thoughts when you see this image?
It makes me so happy. It's one of the happiest days of my life. You know, he was challenging Trump a month ago saying, you know, you're a coward, come and take me. Well, he came and took you. And welcome to the United States. And we're going to see you for trial here in New York City. And I look very much forward to lining up in that court to attend.
Yeah, look, Americans woke up this morning to the news, watching all of it unfold here on Morning in America, and then with Kelly Meyer and here with me now. And they were anxiously awaiting to hear from President Trump more about not just the attacks that happened and being able to pluck Maduro out of there and putting him on the warship on the way here, but what's next, right? What's next? So what do you want? You hear Trump saying in that press conference addressing the nation that the United States is effectively running Venezuela right now. How do you feel about that?
Well, I have no issue with that. I think it would be great for the United States to guarantee a peaceful transition. My understanding, though, and my goal really of what needs to happen is we want Venezuela to be a democratic country again, to be a free country. We already have an elected president, which is Edmundo Gonzalez, who won the election last year. He's the one who should be in charge eventually. And then Maria Corina Machado, she's the opposition leader. She's the most popular person. I know her. I think she's a great leader. She is somebody who is committed ideologically to freedom of enterprise, to privatizing the oil industry, to, you know, taking care of America's interests. And so that's what I hope for Venezuela's future.
Daniel, we're out of time, but where would you be without the United States today?
You know, I would probably be much thinner living in Venezuela if I hadn't been able to come to the United States. So I'm very, very grateful for this country. And I'm very, very grateful for President Trump, Secretary Rubio, and Hegseth for what they did today.
Well, we hope that your loved ones that are still there, the few that are still there, are doing okay. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Daniel DiMartino, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news.
Yeah, News Nation is trying to step up their game because they see that, you know, these billionaires are buying up these news companies and they're firing people left and right and changing the game. They're changing the narrative. Coming in. Come on in, bro. The same place we brought Saddam Hussein. Let us show you the cell he was sitting in. We're going to put you in the same cell as Saddam Hussein. He left all the writings, the scratch marks, and all the ranches that he wrote in blood. Can you read, Saudi? I mean, I'm in these ones, you know. You know they already got the lynch rope ready. They got the lynch rope ready. I'm trying to find where one of these ungrateful bastards.
We have some vehicles pulling out here.
Yeah. Here you go. Get blocked. Yeah, come on, bruh. Come on. Take your time. You still going to prison, but come on. We can take all day, Sugar Curls. You can take all day.
Mr. President.
All right, so this
Okay,
is
thank you very much.
So,
This is big stuff.
this is an hour long, so I probably won't finish this because I need to do my shorts. But I can say this: there are some Venezuelans on TikTok. I want to show y'all how these people were. How these people were ungrateful. Of course, it's the females and white liberals. But I'll leave it alone. Wait. Saturday, he was dancing, smiling, cameras on. He sure was, wasn't he? He was having a good old time.
Saturday,
Yeah,
he was dancing,
that's me.
smiling,
You're probably wondering how I
cameras
ended up in
on.
this situation.
Today,
Yeah, that was receptive. Okay. Oh, y'all are funny, man. Saddam was hanged. Maduro was getting off better than Saddam. He better hope so. Like he was doing the twist. He better hope he get off.
It was a U.S. intervention in Venezuela today. There's no other way to describe that. We captured their president. We invaded their capital. That is directly what happened. Everything else is fluff. But we're going to talk about what happens after that because no one else wants to have that conversation because you're going to hear the words new chapter. I just want
you know what? I'm not even going to let him get into it, but I will say this. Because, you know, you're going to have a lot of black bootlicks that's going to be talking about, oh, they just did that for the oil, blah, 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 you know. And my whole thing is F these people. F Venezuela. You killed hundreds of thousands of Americans throughout the years with fentanyl. I remember living in Columbus, Ohio, and this was years ago. Matter of fact, the apartment that I was living in, it was over 10 years ago. Me and my then girl, we was in the house. You know, it's summer. We got the door open. Nice breeze. And all of a sudden, we hear all these ambulance and fire trucks, and they was like close. So we go out, we put our shoes on, go outside, walk all the way down the street. And what happened was one of the neighbors on the edge of the block, he bought some weed. Him and his people, they bought some weed, but they laced it with fentanyl. This was before fentanyl really became a thing. I mean, it was like, actually, no, I take that back. This was back when 10 years ago in Ohio, the city morgue of Columbus, Ohio was so filled with dead bodies from fentanyl overdose that they had to move the bodies to outside counties, and the outside counties like Monroe and everything, 45 minutes away and everything, they didn't have room because their morgues were filled with dead bodies from fentanyl. This was 10 years ago. Remember, it was a crisis 10 years ago. Y'all are old enough, my audience, y'all are old enough to remember that back in like 2015, whatnot. Y'all remember that? Now here we are in 2025, 10 years later. I don't care if we in there to strip them of their natural resources. F them. You've killed almost millions of Americans. I don't care about the race of the people that died. Life is precious unless you don't value it. And I get it. People who are on drugs, they normally don't value their life. But I mean, people are self-medicating. You're talking about the poor. If somebody laced your weed, you went to your usual dealer. Yeah, thank you. My brother OD'd on fentanyl once. That brother survived though. Exactly. You don't care? You gon' they can't take Venezuela's oil. Is that the mentality you gonna have? Knowing that this drug that came from them almost killed your brother? F these people. F that country. But hopefully, based on the president that we have now, who, I mean, let's be honest, I don't care what you think, the man is a humanitarian. You ended 8 wars and now you just ended the drug trade coming from South America. You ended the human trafficking, you ended the drug trade. You cut off the Democrats from stealing our money, and now you're going to cut off the foreigners, Somalians, Arabs, Nigerians, etc., from stealing our taxpayer funds. You're going to kick those Islamists and those Muslims out of this freaking country. Everybody's going back, or you're going back in a bag. Either way, you're going back. That's a humanitarian effort predicated on saving this country. Because if you really care so much about an illegal, then move at least 7 of them in your house. Yeah, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Hypocrites. Don't want to hear you. You live in the United States. You should want everything going right for this country that you live in. You ain't going nowhere else. As a passport, bro, you just a sex tourist. You ain't trying to live nowhere. You trying to catch $300 cheap flights to South America to get scopolamine and robbed, possibly deleted for some coochie. You ain't trying to do nothing real. You just a mouth breather. You're a low IQ mouth breather. I get tired of black people caping for the Democratic Party. But you know, I'll say it again. When the Democrats took over the black vote with the Home Act, welfare and feminism, black women couldn't wait to get back up under their slave master. That's what the projects was. The projects at the time, Section 8 housing, that's the projects. That's the slave quarters. It's just modernized. You live in the modernized slave quarters. I can only imagine the type of violence that went on the plantation simply between the enslaved. If we're supposed to be 100 years generation better than them, and we still out here acting like that, shake the plantation mentality. That's the one generational curse that we never broke. We were trained and raised by overseers who are poor white trash. All of our bad habits and ideology we got from them. That's why they act like poor white trash out here in the streets, because if you notice, it is nothing but poor white trash. These people don't have jobs. This is poor white trash. And they're being manipulated by members of Congress. The Democratic leaders of Congress are manipulating the poor white trash and you through your mama, because she raised you to be a good little slave. You do everything the Democrats say. 72% black man. No, I'm sorry, 77%. 77% for a freaking moron. Simply because she black. You're a slave. I voted for Jill Stein. simply because she was talking about reparations. I knew she couldn't get it, but hey, if you talking my business, then hey, okay, you got my vote. Her Breakfast Club interview and her interview with Jason Black did not convince black folks to get off the plantation. They just did not care. They wanted they butter biscuits and they Beyonce. You know how pathetic? You know how pathetic we are? You got Somalians sitting up here talking about, you know, how they not black and, you know, we're some derogatory term for a slave in their language, and that we don't know our fathers. We're the products of one night stands. And you caping for them. That's treason on general principle. And you know how we deal with traitors in this country, or how we used to deal with traitors in this country. But we have no control over our neighborhoods and so-called communities and whatnot. We just want somebody to shake some shiny keys at us and say a bunch of feel-good platitudes. I told you to vote for Biden. We lost the vote. Chick, I vote for who I want to vote for. Who was you? No, you can't get no job, son. I'm going to lose my benefits. That's slave talk. You think I'm bragging? Dude, no, I'm being honest. We need to look at some cold, hard truth about ourselves. Not everything is racist. Accountability is not racist. Crime is not legal. Acting like you in blackface is not a good representation of black people. Dumping illegals in black neighborhoods and then taxing you out of your homes to turn it over to illegals. Brandon Johnson. Is that a good representation of blackness? Huh? Tiffany Henyard ripped off the city of Dalton, 85% black, for millions. Is that a good representation of blackness? Brandon Scott, Umar, who finally about to get his comeuppance. It's 2026. We can't still be out here acting like it's 2010. These factories are coming in. You need to start getting your resume together. Something. This country is about to go through an economic renaissance. Sitting on your tail, whining and crying on the internet, hoping to get a check is not going to help you because you ain't getting no check. Those days are over. We'll see how these midterms go. But I think by the time we get to the midterms, it's going to be some indictments brought down on the Democratic plantation side. And that's going to galvanize a lot of people to go out and vote in purple areas, in swing states and swing cities. It should. The Republicans need to do a massive media campaign. They need to do a massive media campaign. But then again, if SCOTUS, because they're still waiting to rule on the gerrymandering, they're still waiting to rule on the gerrymandering where if it's legal based on race, because that's what the gerrymandering is. You're gerrymandering for based on race. If they deem that to be illegal because it's racist, then the Democrats will lose 20 seats off rip, which means that they will be the majority minority. They'll I mean they'll have to be going door to door giving out handies and sloppy toppies in order to make up those votes. They will lose. The midterms won't even matter. And then, of course, he'll have control of the Senate. He'll have control of the House and the Senate, and of course, the presidency. And it's going to run like that for a while. And I wouldn't be surprised if they took another shot at him. And you know what I mean? Because they're so mad right now. They're so mad right now. He's killed all of their money. All of their money. All of their money. They're breaking their necks trying to get this Medicare subsidies passed again, because that's their last vestige of stealing taxpayer funds. And you've got RFK Jr. sitting up here writing a bill because he's Department of Health and Human Services. If he mess around there and come up with a good bill that's good for Americans, I mean, you already see that Trump has lowered the drug prices across the board. He told these people, look, if you're paying $18 for this drug in Germany, we're not paying $1,800 for here in America. So they made the drug prices across the board. Drugs are cheap now. Trust me, I know. I get my mother's medicine. That stuff be like $10 for seizure medication. That stuff be so cheap. $10 for seizure medication. You know how much that stuff really costs? That stuff is like in the 60s. Drug prices have dropped. But if he can get the new new healthcare bill written and then sent through Congress, it'll pass. It'll pass. They have the House. I mean, they have the House and the Senate. All Trump has to do is sign it into law. They'll pass it. The Republicans will pass it. The House will pass it. They'll send it back down. Senate will pass. They'll send it back down to the House, and then Trump will sign it into law. And then boom, here we go. And now the Democrats who have been using Medicaid, Medicare as slush funds, they will be done. They will be 100% done. They will be bled dry. They'll have to rely on donations. And the messed up part about it is that all these little videos where you saw Jasmine Crockett all over the place, they sent her out there to raise money. But she was putting on her blackface in front of white crowds, talking about some Greg Abbott, Hot Wheels and whatnot, white Democrats, them Jews and whatnot. They was giving money. The Breakfast Club, you got goofy black people giving her money and all this stuff. Yeah, but they won't give her a seat of power or anything. They're stuck. They're stuck on donations. They will be stuck on donations if they change the ACA, Affordable Care Act. If they scrap that, it's over. It's over. I want to get into this with Trump. We got time. We'll give it a go. We'll have to watch it all. It's an hour long, but we're not going to go with all of it.
We appreciate you being here. Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer, all perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again, like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea, just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far, with capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have, and you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills on average 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. Had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, And what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it essentially until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually.
Yeah, because when they first came in, before they went to go pry Maduro out of his IKEA safe house, they destroyed their military complexes. They bombed the hell out of them with precise military strikes and then bombed their airports. They made sure that they crippled Maduro's military. That's why that general was hiding. The whole thing is that you have to seize him. He has to be under arrest, because normally it's your second in command, which is normally your military, your general. He still has control of, their military. So it's just a matter of how many of their soldiers really think that they want to go up against Black Hawk helicopters and drone strikes, because we're not going to really put boots on the ground like that. It's not a war. It's not a war. It's a hostile takeover in order to liberate these people. And they're going to find that general. Don't worry. They're going to find him. They're going to extract him. And then they're going to look at the rest of his military soldiers and be like, "You feel froggy? Leap. Feel froggy? Leap. See what happened." Like we don't have to come down. We don't need to come down on ropes and everything and search you in caves and kick in doors. We ain't got to do all that. We'll take out your general and his second in command and his third in command. And then look at you and be like, you want to keep playing games? Or do y'all want to fall in line and call it quits? What do you think they're going to do? The drug cartel is over. Your boss is gone. Your second in command, your general, will soon be gone. His second in command will soon be gone. I understand why their VP, that chick, why she's saying, well, Maduro is still in charge, because she doesn't want to be executed for what they feel would be treason against the drug lord, against their drug lord leader. I'm not in charge. Maduro's still in charge, but it's like when the manager at the job gets fired and you got the GM, the manager, you got the assistant manager working there, but all the employees working there is like the manager's family and friends. You got to tread very carefully, or you're going to get jumped in the storeroom. Anyway.
This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have.
Yeah, we got some.
This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans. Hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship. They'll be heading to ultimately New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. You all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over in particular the United States, Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide. And he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they call police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly, and now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average, 2 a week in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're going, they're walking their daughters, they're walking their children, their wives, they walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military, and I want to thank law enforcement. It's been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. We just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%.
You notice we don't see any news reports about the National Guard, ICE and the National Guard out in Tennessee, because those people are being orderly and respectful. They're being orderly and respectful. They know to mind their P's and Q's. Plus, their police officers are not anti-ICE. At least their sheriff's department is not. And they are pretty much assisting with crowd control.
And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana. And we have done that. It was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, that's another state that's like, yeah, come on in. You know what I'm saying? Because they got that red state governor. These red state governors aren't playing around. They are not playing around. Tennessee has a red state governor. They are not playing around. They don't give a shit. Ooh, try not to curse. They don't care what a little goofy mayor has to say. Care what some pencil neck geek of a mayor has to say. I run you. And I said, shut up and let ICE do their job and have the police assist them in crowd control, or it'll be your head.
Imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had
Exactly.
we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster and the mayor was a disaster, but it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there. When they need us, we'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country.
Oh, don't worry. They're going back to L.A. They're going back to L.A. They're going back to Chicago. They're going back to New York. They're going back to North and South Carolina. Now that they got all those ICE agents and DHS agents that have now been fully trained and ready to go. Remember the summer, they was taking in applications like crazy. They was giving up to $60,000 bonuses, helping you with your student loan debt. They was like, come on in. And I mean, the funniest thing I saw was some Mexican dude with his son going into a ICE facility to put in his resume. And the white folks was calling him a traitor and whatnot. He was like, he threw up the middle finger like, the hell with you. Like, I'm a citizen. I don't want them here. The hell with them. I want them gone. He let them know exactly how he feel. Because citizens, the one thing people fail to understand is that when these Hispanics, because I mean, that's the closest continent, when these Hispanics come here legally, as well as other people that come here legally, they vote Republican because they know that the Democrats, socialists, they just escaped that garbage. They don't want to go through that again. They don't want to go through that again. That's why they're trying to get the illegals to vote, because they don't mind. They're used to poverty and squalor as long as they keep getting their food stamps and their checks. But now that Trump has cut off the money, cut off the Social Security cards, and they're forced to self-deport, you can forget it. You can forget it. They lost. The Democrats have lost.
But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned, Tren de Aragua. And they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people. And now Maduro will never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years, I've highlighted.
Hold on. Let me answer this. Oh, it did? Oh, I didn't know. My bad. I don't know what's going on. It's the internet. So dude said, hold on. Your opinion of blue state politics are related to Maduro. How? Failure to stop drug flowing through red and blue states is a democratic failure. It's not a failure. They were taking money. You know how we talk about how the government is involved in illegal activity, black market activity, human trafficking, gun running, drug running? Yeah, for decades. Maybe it's you, No News, because my stream looks strong. But yeah, but they were taking in money. Can y'all see the stream? Give me a one if y'all can see the stream. But they were taking in money from Maduro and the cartels and whatnot. Suspended for oh crap. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on. Oh. I see it. All right. All right, we'll call it a night. All right, we'll call it a night.
No, gentlemen, Mr. Butler's been up north, I hear. Don't you agree with this, Mr. Butler? I think it's hard winning a war with words, gentlemen. What do you mean, sir? I mean, Mr. Hamilton, there's not a cannon factory in the whole South. What difference does that make, sir, to a gentleman? I'm afraid it's going to make a great deal of difference to a great many gentlemen, sir.
Are you hinting, Mr. Butler, that the Yankees can lick us?
No, I'm not hinting. I'm saying very plainly that the Yankees are better equipped than we. They've got factories, shipyards, coal mines, and a fleet to bottle up our harbors and starve us to death. All we've got is cotton and slaves and arrogance. That's treachery!
A problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Right, hi! Thanks for the fun!
Get the fuck